Hello buddy, welcome back to another video. And in this video I'm gonna be showing you all the April Fool's updates and jokes Mojang has pulled so far. So the very first April Fool's joke was in 2011 and the last one so far is in 2020. So there have been 9 of these so far. Only in 2012 we didn't get an April Fool's update or joke. So I'll go through all of them in this video in great detail. So if you like videos like this with awesome Minecraft content, please consider subscribing to the channel. A lot of you watching these videos aren't actually subscribed, so please do so. That would help me out a huge bunch. And of course, if you can, please like the video. It just takes 1 second. Do it now. Okay, but there we go. Let's just get started with the very first April Fool's update. So this was 2011 and it definitely wasn't in 1.16.2. So let's switch out to the right version to see what happened in this update. On April 1st, 2011, a single block was added to the game and it was called the locked chest. This is the locked chest. It can spawn randomly in any chunk over here in the world. So the locked chest use the chest model of course, but when you right click it, you will see this menu pop up, Steve Co supply crate. You need a Steve Co supply crate key to open this. You can pick one up at the Minecraft store, and if you clicked go to store, you would go to a page where you could buy all these fake things. You couldn't really buy them, but there were 12 items available. But if you clicked the proceed to check out button, there would be a velociraptor from the movie Jurassic Park making a loud noise and flying across the screen. And if you added more than $10,000 to your cart, then there would be a window asking if you are prone to seizures. And if you clicked OK, the screen would start flashing like crazy. And so the day after April Fool's, there was actually an April Fool's banner added to the site, along with, yes, a rickroll. But now if you click go to store, you will go to the site where you can buy Minecraft on minecraft.net. This locked chest was a reference to Team Fortress 2's item drop system. So one of the items you can get in that game is the Manco supply crate, for which you need a key you actually need to pay for. So this was the only thing that was added in the 2011 April Fool's update. So let's just move on to the 2013 April Fool's update, since we didn't get a 2012 one. 2013's April Fool's joke was Minecraft 2.0, a new version of Minecraft that was released with loads of stuff added and loads of stuff changed as well. Around 10 to 20 YouTubers actually made videos on this update, which was part of the joke. I'm using some of the footage from Sethbling and Exumavoid, because I couldn't get this April Fool's version to work on my own computer, sadly. So here we see Sethbling creating some etho slabs, of course reference to etho's lab. It's a TNT slab, and if you place it and explode it, it spawns an anvil on top of your head trying to kill you. Then here we see torches. They would burn out after a random amount of ticks, and you could relight them with flint and steel. Then we have the block of coal, which wasn't in the game yet, and you crafted with 9 coal like this. It was removed and later added again in 1.6.1. Then here is tinted glass. This is not stained glass. Stained glass wasn't in the game yet. So tinted glass, there were 16 different colors for every single color of dye, and you could craft them with glass around the die and it would give you 8 tinted glass. There were also some mobs added. First of all, horses and ponies. Horses weren't in the game yet, and they were retextured pigs and cows. And so since you could ride pigs, you could also ride the ponies, but not the horses. Then there's the friendly wither or pink wither that was added. So you spawn a pink wither by placing pink wool and a flower pot with a rose on top. It was attracted to sugar, and so it would start off with just one head, and feeding the friendly wither some sugar would give it another head and up to 3 maximum, and it would restore all the health of surrounding mobs and apply bone meal to neighboring blocks. And they do drop nether stars when killed. There were also diamond chickens. They would spawn very rarely, and instead of laying eggs they would give out diamonds or lapis lazuli, and it would also explode when you try to attack them. Then there was the redstone bug, which looked similar to a silverfish but red, and it would spawn when redstone was activated. Then the changes, droppers were renamed to floppers, then they would change the item to a fish when spitting it out. Furnaces had a random chance of overheating and exploding, as you can see here. Chickens were turned into neutral mobs and would spawn reinforcements when they got killed, reference to the Zelda games, and they would start attacking the players as well. When you would feed pigs, horses, mushrooms and cows, they would become fat, and when you feed them 10 times they would explode. And if you gave golden apples to sheep, they would start to fly, and they could also explode when fed too many times. The zombie pigmen would spawn with battle signs, so enchanted signs. There was also a super hostile mode. It was an occasional event every 2 to 5 minutes, and it had a shower of lightning bolts whilst spawning a huge number of mobs and also applying blindness to the player. There was also a new option called Super HD Graphics, and when you would turn it on, it would make all the textures black and white except for secondary layer textures. And finally, there were also some speech bubbles that were added to blocks and mobs. Some of the quotes were, "I'll be back. That tickles. I thought we were friends. You're mean. Not dropping anything. Kaboom! Creeper behind you. You no take cobble. I'm diamond. Stop punching me." There we go. That's the 2013 April Fool's update. Let's just get over to 2014. On April 1st, 2014, every single player's skin was changed to a villager skin. So you can see this here on this screenshot, and here is another one of people having a villager skin. I remember this happening and I found it so strange until I found it was an April Fool's joke. Also, the normal villagers in the game made different sounds, and all the noises in the game were replaced with sound effects from the Element Animations Villager Sounds Resource Pack. And there was also some in-game villager music. So there were 7 total variants of the villager skins, so you could have one of those 7 in the game. But also that's everything that was added in the 2014 April Fool's joke. So let's just go over to 2015. In 2015 we got snapshot 15W14A as the April Fool's snapshot. This was a fake snapshot for 1.10, the Love and Hugs update. Of course that's not what the final 1.10 update was, but that was the April Fool's update. So immediately on the main menu this was all different. There was just one splash, Minecraft is love, Minecraft is life. There is no realms button, and you can only create one world, there can only be one. And you can also not change this name. There are only 2 game modes available, existence or survival and creative. And if you go to more world options, instead of allow cheats, it now says allow superpower. So the first edition is the love meter, which you can see instead of my experience bar, and this will fill up when you right or left click mobs. So let's go to the sheep over here. Left click this, there we go, we can shear it. We can punch them as well, but that just gives off hearts. As you can see, gives us whole lots of hearts, and it gives us a second heart as well. So let's go to this sheep as well. There we go, 3 hearts. And as you can see, all the particles in the game have been replaced by hearts. We'll get into the further changes in a second. And so now you can see that also the hearts go up to a second line. And so once you reach 8 of these lines of hearts, a game called Minescreeper will appear. Here we go, let's let all these creepers explode, and there we go, Minescreeper. This is just like Minesweeper but textured like Minecraft. Over here at the top it says Minescreeper. So there's a grid of grass blocks, and if you left click on one of them, as you can see, it works just like normal Minesweeper. And if you right click, you can place a flag, which in this case is just a sign. And here, as you can see, all of the creepers appear, so these are instead of the bombs. And if you have placed a sign on top of the creeper, as you can see, it has a happy face. I also bugged it out over here, so it just stopped because it wasn't even possible to finish anymore. And if you click again, you can try again. If you press X, Y, Z, Z, Y, Shift, Enter, Enter, you hear the level up sound. And up here you see a little white square, and you can see which ones are safe and which ones are not. So there we go, if there's not a white square, there's a creeper, and this is how you can cheat the system and win easier. And so once you win, this is what happens. There we go, you go straight to the credits, you've won the game! And yes, it just rolls the credits, that's it. So you can exit out of it. There we go, we're back. Wait, what? was that a credits warp. The second edition is the obsidian boat, crafted like a normal boat, but just with obsidian. And if you place this one in the water, as you can see, it sinks. You can still enter it, you can still move around in it, but it just sinks to the bottom of the water. And no, you can't ride on lava with this boat, you will just sink to the bottom in lava as well. Two potions were added, the potion of caring and the potion of sharing. Potion of caring will make the mobs you throw at it move towards other mobs. So there we go, he goes after the other mobs and the others are all running away from him. There's this nice particle effect though, but that just always happens since all the particle effects have been changed with hearts. The potion of sharing drops items in a random amount of time. So here we have sharing, and so now we will drop random items over a random amount of time. So it can be food or saddles or diamonds. So there we go, we dropped the saddle over there and the villager picked it up. Hey, you also got a diamond. There we go, iron ingot. So there's all kinds of items you can drop. Then there's a whole lot of changes. So in the options, if you go to video settings, as you can see, everything is just completely blank. So you can still change stuff, as you can see here. I'm changing this, I'm changing the frame rate and stuff as well. And so this is only on the video setting. So this is the clouds, let's turn them on. There we go. And now, as you see, the clouds are shaped like hearts. There we go, the clouds have been changed into hearts. And there's always also a red tint over the screen, which is a shader. So combat is removed in this snapshot, and it's also impossible to die. So there we go, you don't die, never. You also can't hurt any mobs, as you can see, it's impossible. I do think you can still kill them with lava though. Nope, the sheep just lives through. Also, hardcore mode was removed in this snapshot. Dungeons were replaced by home, so that's this over here. There's a chest with some items in it, there's a furnace and there's a crafting table, but there is still a spawner. And it has quartz walls and chiseled quartz floor. So everywhere in the world there are these random snow layers that spawn on some blocks. As you can see, there are lots of them. So the world generation in this snapshot is very bad. As you can see, it loads very slowly. So the majority of snow cover and ice plains and cold taiga is melted, and jungle temples don't have traps anymore. If we go over to a desert temple, I finally found one. Go down here, as you can see, no TNT, and there's just a nice ladder over here if you want to go down, or you can go down with this water over here. So it's all very nice, no dying here to any TNT. If we try to reset our world, it will say that the name of the world is My Beloved World. If we change the world type to super flat and go over to 0, 0, and if we make it rain, as you can see, a lot of snow is appearing here. And then over here we will see something appearing, and this is actually a QR code which leads you to the name of the 1.9 update. There's actually a village right in the center of the QR code, so don't think it would actually have worked here. And so it would say combat update, because that was what 1.9 is about, and that wasn't an April Fool's joke. So here you can see the QR code forming, and there's actually a creeper face inside the QR code. And so another change is that always rain will cause snow to fall, as you can see over there as well. Just in normal terrain, snow will also fall when it's raining. For some reason there is no carrot on a stick in this snapshot, and lava buckets are renamed to cheese bucket. All banners have a heart on them by default, even the red one, even though you can't even see it. Here we go, here's the banners, there's the black one, the red one and the white one. Normal boats have a heart at the center of them, and they will sink when the player tries to ride them, but once you get out, they rise up back to the surface. Which is pretty logical, as there's a hole inside of the boat. Arrows have a heart at the end of them, and if we put two cows over here and shoot both of them, as you can see, they will breed and create a little baby cow. TNT is renamed to Love Bomb, same with the minecart, with TNT, minecart with Love Bomb. So the Love Bomb does no damage to players, but does do damage to mobs. Also it destroys no blocks. Strength potions now increase your love power instead of your strength. Potions of harming were renamed to potions of love, but they still damage mobs. I'm so sorry. There we go. Potions of invisibility were renamed to potions of fun, and still make the player invisible. Potions of leaping were named to potions of happiness, but still do the same thing. All the swords were renamed to hearts, so iron heart, wooden heart, stone heart, diamond heart and golden heart, and they don't do any damage to mobs. Creepers looked like this, which I don't know if that's a good thing. And if they explode, there we go, it just turns into a couple of puppies. Ghasts were made rideable. There we go, riding a ghast. You can't control them though, sadly. You could no longer ride horses, instead they would actually ride you. And so these horses would only come off if you would go underwater over here. There we go. Magma cubes were renamed to cheese cubes, and they would give the player happiness when you click them. There we go, happiness for 10 seconds. And so as you can see, you could jump way higher. They also made pigs able to climb walls. There we go, and they made it. Skeletons didn't burn in sunlight and would randomly drop bone meal, just like chickens would drop eggs. There we go, bone meal. And squids didn't swim. No, they were able to fly. That's totally crazy. Villagers could no longer trade, but if you come up to one of them and try to do it, as you can see, it will just give you thanks for your donation. So instead of this emerald, you click on it and it becomes a paper with thanks for your donation. And also villagers will pick up any item you throw down, which we saw before with the diamond and the emerald, and there we go. No, my water bucket and my boat's gone as well. Witches now throw good potions instead of bad ones. There we go. We got some speed. They are missing a whole lot. I just see speed at the moment, but I'm sure you can get other effects here as well. Just like 2 years prior, the wither is now pink once again. And it creates lots and lots of grass. So skulls explode with bone meal. But the creation explosion still damage the blocks around it. So the boss bar is pink instead of the usual purple. Also, zombies don't burn in the day. And minecarts have a beautiful, fluffy, pink interior. As you can see right here. Beautiful. So there we go, massive update for the 2015 April Fool's joke. Let's now move over to 2016. 2016's April Fool's update was pre-release 1 for Minecraft 1.rv, or the trendy update. It included 1 new block and 3 new items. So the new block was the USB charger block. It's this block over here. It works exactly the same as a redstone block because it gives off a redstone signal strength of 15. Then the first of the items is the reality vision or virtual reality goggles. So you can equip them on your helmet slot, and as you can see, when equipped, you can see this 3D map of your world. So we see a village over there, we can also see it on the map. There is a village over there as well, so yes, there it is. So you can see a top-down view of your world. And if you place down a sign while in this mode, doesn't matter what you put in there, it always will say obey, which is a reference to the movie They Live. Also, signs look different in this snapshot, and the text on them is green, as you can see. So both of these will say obey when we put on the reality goggles. There we go, both of them say obey. Even though there is still hello there, you can still see that. The second item is the ankle monitor. You can put on your boot slot. And when you're in survival mode, you won't be able to take these off. I'm trying to take it off, but it's impossible. There's also this little texture on your feet right there. Also showed it with the virtual reality goggles. There we go. So the ankle monitor will give the player slowness 1. And it will give messages to the wearer when it's far away from its spawn point or in another dimension. Oh, there we go. There it is. Curfew warning. You are violating your house arrest. Where are you anyway? I'm in the nether. Also, the slowness effect has now been given to me. The third item added is the smarter watch. And you can put it in your offhand to make it work. And now you can see, you'll see the time down at the bottom right there. So it's currently a little bit past 2 PM. So not only will it show the time, but it will also give you your statistics when you reach certain milestones. So there we go. We've now played for 30 minutes on this world. We've jumped 40 times, and every time it increased to a new milestone, you will get a new notification. There we go, distance printed, 400. Awesome, let's walk for a little bit. We should get another notification in a second. There we go, distance walked. Distance sneaked is also possible, of course. So this is for all the statistics. There we go, distance crouched is now 50. And so it will give updates on all of these statistics over here. 50 jumps, amazing. I actually think this would be a nice addition to the game. I mean, I like statistics, so I think that would be a pretty cool thing to do. But sadly, this was just an April Fool's joke. There we go, the chest opened 10. And so also in this April Fool's update, mobs were able to wear some of these things as well. So you can see some of these zombies wearing the virtual reality goggles, and also the ankle monitor. I don't know if they can spawn with the smarter watches as well, but it looks like this on the player, the smarter watch. Actually has a beautiful texture, which I think looks very nice. Yes, there we go. There is a zombie with a smarter watch and the virtual goggles as well. The reality vision goggles. But that's everything that was added in this update for 2016. Let's just move over to 2017. In 2017, Mojang announced the Minecraft digital leisure device. You can see on screen right here. It resembled a Game & Watch, which was a handheld device you could play a single game on. And so this was a Game & Watch for Minecraft. It was a joke, it was never released to the public. The 2018 April Fool's joke was a fake texture pack. And so here you see the menu screen. There are only a couple of splashes here, one of them photorealistic, also cleaner, simplified, not blurry and stuff like that. So this was a default resource pack and it looked very bad on purpose. So the stone just had one color, the grass, it looked all super bad. So it was just 8-bit colors, and definitely this is not a great texture pack for the game. The mushrooms looked awful at different colors as well. They just tried to make it look as bad as possible. And when we open up the inventory, we see all of these bad textures. This is actually a old video of mine where I reviewed all of these blocks. And here you see, for example, the stripped birch log. It looks terrible. And I go through some of the other blocks in here as well, like the sponge, which is not even yellow anymore, but yellow and green, and it doesn't look good at all. So all of the blocks, or at least most of the blocks, were retextured, and also the mobs were. And furthermore, the game just worked like normal, so it was just a resource pack that was added. And you could only see this on the 1st of April 2018. Afterwards, you had to download the resource pack to see them again. Here you see purple wool as well. And if you grab some of the sandstone blocks, you couldn't even see the difference between these three. So they would just have some random textures on their blocks, and you wouldn't even know which ones were which. Hay bales were orange for some reason. And here's a nether wart block, which had all kinds of purple and green dots on it. And so here's some redstone and a beacon as well. The beacon is one of the most beautiful blocks, but they somehow still ruined it. The glass still looks the same as normal glass though. So not only blocks were changed, also mobs. So here's a spider. All of these have the bad texture squids as well. There's a shulker, just is completely one color with a little bit of extra other colors of purple, but not too much. Also, the armor didn't look that great, and the Ender Dragon head also was awful. So that was 2018, all kinds of bad textures added as an April Fool's joke. Let's just move over to 2019. In 2019 we got another Minecraft snapshot, this time called 3D Shareware version 1.34. And so this was the release of Minecraft 3D. And when you started up Minecraft, it looked something like this. So first of all, you would see this loading screen that was similar to a DOS command prompt. And it would show all of this you can see on the screen right now. And then you would see this logo, and if I'm quiet for a second, when this logo appears big on the screen in a second, there it is. And then this is the title screen. So this Mojang sound is similar to how Sega would be said when you start up a Sega game. And also at the top you see this unregistered version in green on a red bar. Also there's this 3D logo on top of the splash message. So in this game demo mode is always set to true, and instead of play demo mode it here says select episode, and reset demo world has been labeled modem play TM. And if you click on it, it says blip plop. And if you click on it again, it says no in Swedish. So if you click select episode, there is 4 options. The player is you, knee deep in lava, not just the Enderman removing hereby, and all these worlds are yours except. So only the first is available, and if you click on it, there is difficulties. So peaceful is called hello noobville, easy filthy casual, normal lemon curry, hard extreme to the max, and then there's obligatory nightmare mode. It's the same as hard, but the player will constantly receive damage. And if you hover over it, as you can see, the whole screen turns red. And if we join with this difficulty on, as I said, you will continuously take damage. And now if we play, as you can see, it already looks completely different. We get into this in a second, but we're taking damage very quick. And so once we die, we'll get a unique death message as well. Okay, there we go, we're taking damage again. And there we go, I was too soft for this world. Now instead of going through the additions, let's go through the changes first. So when you load up a world, you will see this pop up right here, which also happens when you play the Minecraft demo. And if you click on open registration form, a text file is generated. So here it is. This is the text file that's generated. It's called order.txt and it contains several fake games and merchandise the player can order. I won't read all of them, but you can pause the video and see what they are. And there's also this sheet where you can fill in your address and stuff like that. So that's that. And if you click continue playing, you will just play the game like normal. Barrels have been changed and well, there we go. Sometimes just randomly when you're playing you will see something like this. Next disk required, insert disk and then a number, into drive and then a letter, and press enter. And if you press anything else but enter, it says I said enter. And then if you press enter, the pop-up disappears. So barrels have been changed from a 3D texture to a 2D texture, as you can see over here. And it has a fire on top of it as well. And so if you open it, you can see stuff inside of it, but once you close it, it explodes. And so these barrels will randomly generate throughout your world. You can find a lot of them. And so if you don't completely empty it, you will hear this sound. They will also blow up if you shoot them. But then also blocks around it will be destroyed, unlike when you just pick up the item, the blocks are not destroyed. So you can only play in this version for 5 Minecraft days, and afterwards you won't be able to destroy any blocks anymore, place any blocks and do stuff like that, similar as to the demo mode itself. The multi-shot enchantment goes up to level 12 in this update, and so when you shoot with this crossbow with multi-shot level 12, as you can see a whole lot of arrows were shot. But it only takes 1 arrow from your inventory, and that's the only one you can pick up back again as well. So the HUD has also been completely changed, because health and armor are now displayed as percentages instead of just normal armor and health bars. As you can see, if I put on more armor, this increases, yes. And you can also see the player's head and torso in the screen at the bottom. And your hunger is now displayed as the raw beef you see to the right of my face. And if you go into creative mode, the raw beef completely disappears and you only see the bone. So the hotbar is now a 3x3 grid and you can no longer see your experience. If you go underwater, your air bubbles will be displayed above the hotbar. There we go, there are the air bubbles. And if you start swimming, you can't actually see yourself anymore inside the little icon. If you press escape and click give feedback, you can see this screen and the address of Mojang Studios. And all the sounds in the game have been converted to more 8-bit sounds. As you can hear right there. Now let's get into the additions as well. You've already seen this. I got a blue key. So there's 3 different colors of keys. There's a red key, the blue key and the yellow key. So the red key is dropped by the Wither, the blue key dropped by the Elder Guardian, and the yellow key dropped by Ravagers. And you can also find them inside the barrels. And if you hover over them, as you can see, it says they open blue doors, but they actually don't do anything. So here you can see the red key as well, and the yellow one is here as well. So there are no other door types or anything. There are no red doors, yellow doors or blue doors. There's just these 3 key cards that have been added. Also, as you can see, mobs of sprites are 2D. There's a 2D pig right here. So this is true for all animals. From far away it seems pretty normal, but when you get closer, yes, you can definitely see they're just 2D. So there's another item that was added, and that's this one over here, the 3D items. This is the same as you saw on the title screen that was flying around. Pressing F5 is also a bit strange over here, because you can still look around like this. So as you can see, it says tasty in all different kinds of colors and type fonts, and so this indicates that you can eat it. So here we go, let's eat this 3D item, and there we go, you see a picture of the Minecraft developer cast. So if you press B in this update and hold it, you will see this right here, a very real spreadsheet. So this is called boss mode, and this is what you would want to show when your boss is walking by, and then you can release B when your boss has gone. You can change the screen size with F7 and F8, so if you press F8 8, as you can see, your screen size diminishes all the way to this size. This is the smallest size you can get it. And so you can increase it by pressing F7. So there we go, increase it all the way up to here. Then there are a lot of cheat codes in this update as well. So you don't even have to open chat. If you just type in power overwhelming, there we go. Nothing can stop you. It makes the player invincible to damage. Hunger will not decrease and mobs will ignore the player as if the player was in creative mode. So I'm right here. Hello Enderman. Haha. He won't attack me. I'm in survival. But no mobs will attack me and I am made invincible. The next is pigs on the wing. If you type in pigs on the wing, there we go. Now flying is very yes, and you can fly in survival mode. Yes, I am still in survival mode, as you can see right here. I still break blocks like normal. There we go. Blocks still get placed from my inventory. Next up there is Flasha, so just type in flash, there we go. It says Gordon's alive and you get jump boost, speed and haste for a minute, and it's very high jump boost, very high speed as well, and very high haste also. Then there's more Daka, so if you type that in, there we go, you will get overpowered armor and tools, there we go, with multi-shot level 12 on the crossbow as well. Then if you press IDKFA, there we go, you get one of every single type of key. If you type in cows, 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 like this, you will see this message in chat. So this actually says there is no cow level and it's obfuscated. Then there is how do you turn this on? It says vroom. And it summons a very fast horse. So look at this, the horse is super fast. So this is a reference to Microsoft's 1999 RTS game Age of Empires 2, where you could get a fast car using the same cheat code. And then we have the last cheat code, which is nerd with 4 E's. And there we go, a special creeper has been spawned nearby. And so we should be able to see this over here. This is the special creeper. So this is the nerd creeper, it has a lab code and everything. And if you decide to kill this creeper, there we go, it will drop the 3D item. And then if you decide to quit the game, you will see one last message. Thank you for playing Minecraft 3D. So there we go, that was 2019. Let's move over to 2020, the last one as of now. So in 2020 we got the 20W14 Infinite snapshot as the April Fool's snapshot. And so this was a snapshot for the Ultimate Content update, and it added some new items, some new blocks, and oh yeah, 2 billion new dimensions. Let's go through the new blocks first. First of all, we have the box of infinite books. There's 4 different colors. Here are all 4 of them. There's the blue, the red, the cyan and the yellow one. And if you right click them, a book will be spat out, which is specific to the coordinates the bookcase is on. So all of these are different. So it also doesn't work when they're on chunk borders. So as you can see, I'm trying to right click these two, but that doesn't work. So they have to be away from the chunk borders. So the title of these books shows the coordinates of the bookshelf. And so the author is universe itself, but it's obfuscated. And if you throw one of these books into a nether portal, it will change color. And now this is a funky portal. And the ID of this block over here is neither portal. So I can use set block to place them down as well. So there we go, they're all a random color. And so this will bring you to a random dimension, and it's different for every single book you put in there. But we'll get to those dimensions in a second. We'll first go over the other blocks. So there was also the cursor block added, which is this one over here. It flashes between black and lime concrete. And this block generates in one of the specific dimensions. So there were 43 specific dimensions and the rest were all random. Then there's the AND block, and you can only place it by using the set block command. So there it is, this is the AND block. And if it's placed on top of black or white concrete, as you can see, it will turn it into the other color, and then it will move to the adjacent block as well until it stops and comes over the edge over here. It's not on top of any of the concrete anymore. And if they hit each other, they merge into one block. And there's also a dimension where one of these blocks spawns. Then there's the swaggiest stairs ever. So these are netherite stairs. They can't be crafted, but they look amazing. Then there's the leftover block, which is called zone over here. And if you place it, the player will get blindness and poison when they're standing inside of it. So there's this particle effect that appears from it, but furthermore it's just completely invisible. It also doesn't have a hitbox or anything like that. And if you throw an item into it, it falls straight down, as you can see. Then there were also some items added. So first of all, the footprint, which is this one over here. You can only get it through the /give command, and it does not have a crafting recipe. And so it's a reference to a particle that was removed, the footstep particle, and it's also available in one of the hard-coded dimensions. There's also the fine item, or a very fine item as it's called over here, and it says home sweet home, so it's a grass texture with home sweet home on top of it. And it's once again able to be found in one of the hard-coded dimensions we'll go over in a second. So for every Minecraft world there are 2 to the power 31 or 2 billion dimensions. And so let's just go through this random one. So all of them are random with random biomes, random stuff like that. So here we see a desert, but as you can see the fog changes color depending on your height. There's lots of bats as well, and there's lots of pumpkins here. There are floating islands, and there's a mine shaft down here as well. And so we can go into different dimensions as well by throwing in another book. So let's go through one more. Here we have an end dimension with lots of end stone with a different color attached to them. There are nether wart blocks. Oh, they're coarse dirt, but they just have a completely different color. Endermen spawn everywhere, and there's lakes of lava. So if you want to go through some of these dimensions yourself, you can just go into the 20W14 infinite snapshot. I won't go through all of them because showing 2 billion dimensions would take just a little bit too much time. So I will just show all the hard-coded dimensions now. You can also get to the dimensions using the warp command and then just typing in the name of the dimension. So I'll say the name of all the dimensions and show them briefly. This is the end dimension, which spawns with the end block and is just completely white concrete that changes into black concrete through the end block. There's a sign that says patience. Warp basic has this maze that looks similar to mazes generated with the programming language basic. Dimension blacklight has inverted lighting, so everything that should be bright is dark and everything that should be dark is bright. Warp brand has lots of creeper faces. Warp bridges has lots of end bridges in it. Warp busy is a snowy taiga that spawns mineral blocks instead of ores and also redstone components, like this piston over here. Here's a couple droppers and some pistons as well. Warp checkerboard has all of these checkerboard patterns with colors from all the different colored blocks. Warp chess has completely dark and completely light blocks right next to each other, making the world look like a checkerboard pattern. Warp colors has 4 different quadrants, each representing one color. Warp content has one of the skyblock islands with a chest with these items inside of it. Warp credits has the full Minecraft credits written out in netherite blocks. Warp custom has this black and yellow pattern and 2 signs, one saying under construction and one saying IU1 custom worlds. Warp darkness is completely dark except for around the spawn. Warp decay breaks down over time when heading into high X or Z values. As you can see, all the blocks are starting to get misplaced and the game might even crash if you go too far in one direction. Warp fleet has lots and lots of these end city ships and it's probably a reference to Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Warp gallery has all of these random block DNA strings and a quartz path that leads between them. Warp holes is a normal Minecraft world with, you guessed it, a whole lot of holes. Warp isolation is a completely flat dirt world with one house on it. It has signs that say go away and no advertisement please in Swedish. Inside there are 3 wolves, one called Bob's dog, the other Bob's other dog, and last their cousin Jim. On the top floor you can see Bob and the home sweet home fine item we saw before. In the basement there are 3 chests, all empty, and there is a secret chest behind the wall that has rotten flesh, bones and stabby MaxStuff face. Warp library contains lots of these structures with boxes of infinite books. Warp llama is completely filled with bedrock and has these little rooms with 2 signs that say relax and enjoy. And there's this llama with a carpet on top. There's also a secret chest once again. This time it has a book called A Book by Developer, and this book says nothing to solve. Warp message is completely empty except for written in fire. It says we apologize for the inconvenience. Warp missing has this structure where you can find the swaggiest stairs or the netherite stairs and a chest with the footprint item inside of it. Warp notes has infinitely many note blocks that all play different pitches and sounds, and they will start playing once you go into creative or survival. Here we go. That does sound like music to my ears. Warp nothing has nothing except for this one grass block and a sign that says, ha, I lied, this isn't nothing, at these coordinates, where the chunk coordinates resemble the digits of pi. Warp origin has this at the origin resembling the x, y and z axes. Warp patterns has these blocks of white and black concrete with different binary patterns on top of them. Warp perfection spawns infinitely many of these cobblestone rooms. Warp pillars is a normal Minecraft world, but it generates with these massive obsidian pillars all the way from the bottom of the world to the top. Warp retro looks like this. Warp rooms has massive giant brick walls and ceilings. Warp shapes has spheres, cubes and octahedra, all with different blocks. Warp skygrid contains lots and lots of random blocks in this skygrid pattern. Warp slime is a normal Minecraft world except that everything is covered in 10 blocks of slime, so below this is just a normal Minecraft world. Warp spiral has a very large mossy cobblestone spiral. Warp sponge has this very famous sponge structure. Warp terminal has this, which resembles the DOS terminal, and it has the cursor blocks right here flashing. Warp, this is a very long phrase that hopefully is not in any dictionary, brings you to this world over here. In total it reads, hello, only purpose of the message was to troll completionists and put my name somewhere in Minecraft again. I hope it wasn't cracked by accident. It was obviously supposed to take more time than other phrases, written during time of plague by Bog. Yes, lowercase because symmetry. All these worlds are yours except Europa. Use them together, use them in peace. Europa, the moon, sold separately. This is a reference to an alien message from the science fiction book 2010 Odyssey 2. Warp tunnels randomly creates these sea lantern tunnels. Warp wall has this massive bedrock wall and one side of the world is blue and there's an iron door that leads to the other side of the world which is completely red. Warp zones contains these random zone blocks we saw before where you get blindness and poison when you walk on top of them. Warp blue is completely blue, including all the text. Warp red completely red, and warp green completely green. A new advancement was added as well, called Almost There, and you would get it after visiting 1 billion dimensions, which is totally impossible without just giving yourself this advancement. A statistic was added as well, which counted the amount of dimension changes you had. The creative inventory was completely scrambled, so you couldn't find anything inside here anymore without searching for it. And there we go, that was everything added in the 2020 April Fool's Update 20W14 Infinite. And there we go, that's it. All the April Fool's updates all the way from 2011 to 2020. This has been a long video, almost 45 minutes. But I want to cover everything from all the April Fool's updates. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you want more videos like this one where I show off more Minecraft old updates. There we go. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you in the next one. So until then, bye bye.